said that winning can hide things. As you looked at the film from Sunday, what are some of the areas that you saw that you want to try to improve in as you move forward?
Just continuing to emphasize the basics on everybody's behalf. Limiting everyone's mistakes, my mistakes, getting the ball out on time when I need to. Then also give my receivers a chance to make plays.
I don't think there's been a week where you haven't said winning is the only thing you care about when we've asked you about progress and all of that. And then after you won on Sunday, you said, well, winning and losing kind of the same. It doesn't really matter to me. A lot of us are having trouble kind of balancing that out. Can you kind of expand on what you meant?
Winning and losing, they both got a price. They both got a price to pay. It just depends on which one you want to be a part of.
But you've talked consistently about how much winning means to you. Why Sunday did you seem not to feel differently than you felt after all the failed games?
Because there's a way to win games. There's a way to finish out games. There's a standard that you got to play with every game to give yourself the best, situation to win. But the biggest thing, you got to expect to win every time you step on the field.
Do you feel like the team didn't play to that standard, or you didn't play to that standard in winning?
We played to a standard good enough to win. We didn't play to our best standard. At times of the game, we were sloppy. Offensively, I was sloppy myself. And then defensively, we were. So we just got to continue to emphasize the good, and we got to be real critical on the bad.
Did any of that, like you saying that you didn't really need it or anything like that, did any of that have to do with you just trying to remain balanced regardless of the outcome and always looking for it?
No, it's just how I saw it. It's how I played out. And we just got to continue to, be better. We getting better each and every day, no matter whether it's a full speed rep or a jaw through rep. Mentally, we're getting better. We just got to apply it on the field.
And looking back on that, would you have said the same thing, or do you regret it all, any of that?
Never regret it.
What made you feel in the moment that it wasn't good enough? You hadn't watched the tape yet, so when you were in those feelings, what was kind of leading you to that conclusion?
Just playing the game. Looking at the iPad during the game, you see just little things that, I got to be better on than just us as a whole on offense. And especially in the fourth quarter, it just wasn't, our best, ability of football from everybody. That's just what we got to continue to build on and get better at.
What do you see sort of your one or two aspects of your game that you like most right now about your team?
I think just the willingness to stay in the pocket and win the pocket. That's something that I continue got to grow on. And then I think just, I'm getting better just operation in and out of huddle. Then I just think we got to continue to, get better, continue to do stuff that, we're good at, as receiver core and a quarterback, and do stuff that we're all comfortable with.
You say, Mike McCoy said this morning that he's worked a lot with you in your footwork and he's seen you change a little bit, even in the past several weeks. What have you noticed on the footwork front and what impact does it have, do you think, on your
just getting real better, more cleaner, getting the ball out faster, then better accuracy.
You seem to show pretty even-keeled demeanor, especially when you talk with us and all, but then when we talk about the mistakes and how things have to be better on your part, do you beat yourself up at times mentally over mistakes that you made in the game?
Yeah. If you want to be a good player, you can't be satisfied with doing bad things. You got to be, want to be able to be a great player each and every play. And no matter how good the quarterback is or how bad, he's always going to have a bad play at some point within the game, whether it's a bad read, bad pass, or something. But the more you can limit it, the better position you put your teammates in.
It's a team philosophy to work on speed throughout the season, and that you do it at least once a week that we can see. Do you feel like you've made some personal speed gains in the course of the season?
Oh, yeah. I think our strength staff, does a wonderful job getting us right. And it's hard to, maintain the level of training throughout the season just because it changes from off-season in season, but I think we do a great job here.
You're aware of your numbers during the season? Are you interested in that when they tell you your miles per hour or any of that stuff?
Yeah, John Shaw, he tells me every week, especially on scramble drills, what I got to, just if I got to get out better or what my numbers are. So we do a good job keeping up with mine.
Impressed by them or surprised by them?
Or? Not surprised, just more trying to be consistent.
Yeah, it seems like in weeks past you guys were taking a step forward and then 2 steps back. What maybe feels different this week that might not be the case moving forward?
it's really more just about trying to take steps forward. And I think just the more, if you take a step forward and you go backward, you really stay in the same spot. So, our goal this week is to win a game, try to get on a little win streak. So the more we win, I think the more steps we'll take forward.
To that point, it's been since 2022 since the Titans have won back-to-back games. Obviously, that predates you, but what kind of stands out about San Francisco's game plan for that?
I think real, commutative on the defense side of the ball. I think the past couple 5 games, those guys, they really started to play better, knowing each other better, especially with the injuries, that they had. And I think they just do a good job of just rallying. They bend sometimes, but they never break. So you just got to continue to, try to find a way to get explosives on them, put the ball in play, and then how your teammates, do whatever you need to do to win the game.
It seemed like last week the shot clock was a little bit quicker, obviously with Myles Garrett. Obviously the 49ers, they don't have the same pass rush, but is it going to be like, do you want to have it quick this week, against a team that rushes the pass with so much man defense, it's going to give you a chance to run?
It really just depends on how, the pocket ends up, depending on the concept, the progression, the protection I'm in, if I have enough time to hang on to the ball. But, having, a person like Myles Garrett 1 week, then, I think with 49ers, I think they're just a good defensive front. Every front has its challenges. So, by the time the game comes, how I see the pocket on film, just be able to make some adjustments.
Memories maybe of watching Phillip Rivers when you were a kid, and how shocking is it to see him, signing back in the league at 43 years old?
I really didn't watch Phillip growing up, but it is exciting to, see him come back out there. Now I finally get a chance to, watch him, see what he can do, especially at his age. I know he's gonna ball. If he do ball, that means I can play, the same age he is.
You see yourself playing at 44?
God puts me in that position, I'm gonna try to.
What have you seen out of Corey Levin since he's moved into the lineup at center that he's done so well? It seems to have kind of opened up the run game a little bit.
I just think his emphasis on, the little things. Every rep is full speed for Corey. And then with Coach going out, Corey's the perfect backup to step in, take control of the offensive line with the Mike points. And, he's been, a real blessing for us. He's not a huge rah-rah guy, but when Corey speaks, everyone listen. And, he's always ready for his number to be called. So, we got a good one to Corey. We need to make sure he's here with us.
What can you do to get more consistent, you and your receivers together, just hitting those deep balls? We know you like to throw those. How can you get better?
Okay, Trey, guys, chill out, man. Really just got to be more accurate with the football, throw it in their radius, and give them a chance to make a play on the ball.
Is that something, are you guys repping that a lot out here?
Yep, repping it between individuals if we need it. If not, ROA, then just in the team segments.
Does it get frustrating? Like, you want to do that, but you're not able to do it as much?
Not really. It just depends on where the play call is. And then, when we get the opportunity, we got to hit on it.
Kyle Brennan, I guess, recognize you for angry run or for shaking the defender off on Sunday. What was that play like in your mind as how it all played out? Did anybody kind of brought that to your attention? You throwing the defender off of you?
Just trying not to take a sack on, a moving play. Just stay above the sticks.
Appreciate you, Cam.
Rest guys for today. Jeff, Zeitler, Hottie, Tony, and Chig. CJ will not be out there. He has a toe. And then James just went home with an illness. So you won't see those guys out there.
Okay, and since you brought it up, I guess what about Phillip Rivers, a guy you coached? What do you think about him heading back in the league at the age of 44?
Wish him all the best. It was an honor and privilege to coach him for 4 years in San Diego. I read a little article and saw some of Shane's quotes about the type of competitor he is and what the game means to him. So it doesn't shock me at all. And just happy for him because I know he absolutely loves to play the game and what the game of football means to him. So I wish him all the best.
The rigors of how difficult it is to play quarterback as a pro, what kind of positions him to be able to come off the street and feel like he can do it?
Well, he's one of the best to ever do it. A Hall of Fame type quarterback. Obviously, this might delay it now for him to get in, but it's just he knows the system. He's been with Shane before. He's a true competitor. He's one of the smartest players I've ever been around. So it won't take him any time to get up and running to be able to play if that's what they're going to do.
Mike, when it comes to a young team, what's the key for them to respond to victory the right way?
Well, you got to learn every week. We showed some clips today. The complimentary football, creating the turnovers, or a block kick, and all of a sudden you get a touchdown after that, kick field goal, things like that. But it's key for these young guys to understand you got to, in the business, you got to start stacking wins as you go, and it's week after week. There's always things you're going to do to play better from the week before. There's plenty of mistakes we made in the game you got to clean up. But it's important for these guys just to understand the importance of every week, and you just got to build up the momentum you have one week to the other. Because it's all about winning, and that's what we've always taught. Every week you're trying to go 1-0, but it's great for the young guys to get that win, or for the entire organization to get that win last week. So now we have to build off of that and go on the road against another good team and find a way to win.
Mike, the win obviously needed. Have you felt maybe a lightness in the air this week compared to the weeks in the past?
Yeah, it's great to win. I'm just so happy for all the players, the coaches that put all the time in, the entire organization. Since I've been standing in front of you, everyone's bought in to what we were doing, how we were going to do it, and it's just great for everybody involved in the entire organization. And it's definitely a different feeling when you walk in Monday after a win than after some of the Mondays we've had the past couple of weeks. But it's great. I'm just happy for everybody. It's well-deserved.
Good, Derek. When you talk about Cam and the need to refine his mechanics and all, what kind of goes into that in terms of reteaching something maybe that he's done a certain way for years and now having to relearn?
Well, I think we got to be careful. You can't just change everything in the middle of the season. That's one thing. I've talked to him a lot about his footwork, and I think he's put a lot of time into that, and he thinks about it. But once he goes out and starts playing in a live situation, you got to forget about it. You can't worry about those things. That's for all the individual drills. That's going to take, we've talked about a number of things, but you're not going to just change the throwing motion overnight. That's something that it's hard to change a throwing motion. It really is. I think it's a lot easier to change your feet. You can work on those things, but he's thrown so many balls a certain way. But you always kind of talk to him about certain things, and the off season, obviously, as he goes forward, there'll be a lot of things he'll want to work on. You can kind of show him. The great thing now is that, I could sit down with him and show him tape and say, hey, look at this. This is maybe why you're missing these throws. If your feet are different, you could show him the same throw he made when his footwork was better or his target line was better, things like that. He has a better understanding for it. But he's done I think his feet have gotten better in the past couple games and, throughout the season as time's gone on. So it's just, he'll get better every day, I think.
With Cam and just like how he was after the game, there was a bit made about he wasn't happy enough. I know he didn't throw like a party or anything, but to have that same attitude, that same mindset of wanting to get better regardless of a win or a loss, like what kind of testament is that to just him as a young player and striving to be better?
Well, like we've said every day about Cam since we've talked together is he wants to be great. He has a burning desire to be great. He wants to play his best game every week, and that's just the way he is. He's a competitor, and he wants to go out there and do his job at a very high level, or play at a very high level week in and week out. So that's what you love about him.
Did you have any conversation with him about not being excited enough after the win?
I've talked to him.
How did he take the feedback?
Oh, he's great. He wants to be key. That's the great thing about Cam. You could sit down with Cam, regardless of the tougher conversations, the good conversations. He wants to be coached hard, and I think part of my job is to help him, not just in everything of being an NFL quarterback, not just on the field, off the field, how you prepare and all those things. And I think we've had some great conversations the past couple of weeks, and that's what I love doing with young players, is just kind of helping them and just give them some advice. But I want the guys to be themselves also. So that's the great thing about Cam. He's a true competitor. He wants to be great. So
I'm curious, what issue did you have with that made you want to speak to him about this?
Well, Cam and I, we talk about a lot of things. So, on a weekly basis, him and I sit down and talk about a wide variety of things. So whether it's the game, like what you're asking about, talk to them about that, things like that. So there's plenty of conversations we have.
And not just Cam, but I guess the team as a whole, you're an upbeat guy. How much have you tried to preach positivity, I guess, since you took over here? And do you find other guys doing that as well?
Yeah, I think that's big. I mean, you've got to be positive. No one's there's mistakes that happen during games, and there's reasons why you don't win games. But I'm not someone to sit around and mope and feel sorry for myself or feel sorry for everybody. You've got to move on. This is the NFL. You've got to go in and week out and try to find a way to win. So you're going to coach hard. It's not about you're not trying to get on somebody and trying to make them better and point out the mistakes in the game. I mean, we just watched a video this morning from the game with, why we won the game, certain things, and then all of a sudden there's 3 or 4 clips I put in there. This is what you can't do. These are things we have to do better. But I'm a big believer of, being real with everyone, but also, staying positive and just keep going. Everyone's trying to get better. And regardless of what your record is, that's what you're trying to do each week is get better and find a way to win that week.
About, and some of the vets have talked about too, this idea that the younger players need to learn how to win in this league. Can you single out the moment or the lesson, maybe in Carolina or wherever it was, when you learned what it takes to win in the NFL?
Well, it's always different. I mean, really. God, you go back into the Super Bowl year and the 03 season, the 04 season, or 04 Super Bowl, I should say. You have a 2-minute drive, you go down and win. In the opener against Jacksonville. And then next thing you know, we're in Tampa, we block an extra point, and you win in overtime. So there's so many ways to win a game, and that's what you tell the players is that, you got to find a way to win every game week in and week out. You don't know when that play that's going to separate you or pull you away, to put a team away. Sometimes there's the third quarter, there's a missed third down conversion, and all of a sudden it's like, what could have you done to end the game sooner so that they can't come back? So now it's not a 2-score game, it's a 3-score game. And then the big thing, too, is it's all about winning. There's no such thing as an ugly win. You're winning, and that's what you try to do. It's so hard to win on a weekly basis in the NFL that you got to enjoy every win you get. It's much better than the alternative. If we don't win that game on Sunday, how are we all feeling today? But we won the game, so you enjoy it. You learn from the mistakes. You clean up the mistakes. And, like we've been talking about, you guys ask about the young players all year long. It's like, don't make the same mistake twice. So it's the same thing situationally from the game the other day. Let's clean up the negative part of things and not make that same mistake in the future. So that's big, but you got to teach these guys.
When you look at the 49ers, what are the, biggest concerns on each side of the ball?
Well, offensively, they're very efficient. Kyle does an outstanding job putting plans together, all the shifts in motion, and the talented players. He's always put his players in a position to be successful. So you got to be dialed in. We all got to be 11 guys on the same page, pre-snap, post-snap, all those things. And then defensively, Robert's done a phenomenal job with the guys, and he always has. He's got a scheme that's been very successful regardless of where he's been. You've got to match their energy, their intensity they play with. They play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And that's one thing, having known Robert for a long time, is you just love the way his defenses play. They play hard. They play the game the way it's supposed to be played. So it's a good challenge for us.
What's your take or appreciation of the kickoff rule change, where it used to be the touchback was 20, then last year 30, this year 35, just to kind of put a charge into the games and make the kickoff return like an actual play again?
Well, it's always been a play. It's just been how you're looking at it and how you want to define the benefits of it or why you're doing it. The great thing that excites me about every kicking play is we've got 17 back there. So and if you watch the first kickoff in the game, the way the guys, we had the return to the right side, you see the way the guys blocked it. We were talking about going in this game about dominating the fronts on the offense and defensive lines, and then you see the opening kickoff and you see the whole entire right side, how they're matched up. We take the ball at the 48-yard line. We'll take that every time. So, it's what's best for the game. That's why they made the change, and it's just exciting for us because we've got a great returner back there.